It all started with a list. A simple typed piece of paper folded neatly and slipped under the door of apartment 14B at exactly 3:03 in the morning. No signature, no return address, just 12 names, and next to each name, a date. Some had already passed. A few were in the near future. At first, no one would have taken it seriously. People get weird mail all the time, right? But this was different. Because when the first name on that list appeared in the morning paper, under local obituaries, the air in that entire building changed forever. The tenant who got the letter was Evan Caro, a quiet archivist for the city. He lived alone, worked nights, and preferred the company of old documents to people. When he opened that envelope, his hands trembled. He thought it had to be some sick joke until he saw the first date, yesterday, and the name, Rachel Monroe. Rachel lived 2 floors below him. He saw her all the time in the hallway, and now she was gone. That's when Evan realized this was no ordinary list. The next morning, Evan took the letter straight to the police. They just laughed. "You got a weird letter? Happens all the time." No fingerprints, no clues, just an untraceable typewritten list. But when Evan got home that night, another envelope was waiting for him, slipped under the door just like before. This time there were only 11 names. He barely slept. Every creak in the hallway made him jump. The low hum of his refrigerator sounded like a countdown clock. By the third day, the second name on the list, Marcus Lee, was reported missing. His car was found by the river, engine still warm, door wide open. Evan felt the air leave his lungs. He didn't know these people, not really, but their names were now burned into his mind. That night, he noticed something else, something chilling. Every single person on that list lived within a 5-block radius of his apartment building. This wasn't random. Evan started tracking them. He used his clearance at the city records office to dig up public data, housing info, work addresses, anything he could find. He started drawing lines on a map, connecting the dots, and when he was done, the dots formed a perfect circle, with his own apartment building right at the center. He tried to ignore it, even threw the letter in the trash. But the next morning, it was back, lying on his kitchen table, perfectly flat, as if it had never been touched. Evan stopped eating. He could barely bring himself to go to work. He started hearing things, faint whispers behind the walls, footsteps in empty hallways, a soft tapping sound whenever he closed his eyes. He wasn't sure if he was being watched or if his own mind was watching him. By the 4th night, his curiosity had spiraled into a full-blown obsession. He started his own notebook, mirroring the list. Every time a name disappeared from the world, he crossed it off his. But then, he noticed something new. At the very bottom of the original list, a 13th name had appeared. It wasn't there before, Evan Caro, and next to his name, a date, tomorrow. Panic set in. He ran back to the police. This time they weren't laughing. They grew suspicious. "How did you know about the other victims so early?" Detective Marla Jensen asked, studying him. "You seem to know more than you're letting on, Mr. Caro." Evan swore he was being framed, but her expression was cold. "Don't leave town," she warned. "If there's another incident, we'll be talking again." That night, Evan bolted every lock on his doors and windows. But just after midnight, his phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. It was a single image, a photo of him, right now, taken through his own apartment window. And in the reflection of the glass, he could just make out a dark figure standing right behind him. He spun around. Nothing. Just his empty living room. He checked the door, still locked. The windows, sealed tight. But when he turned back, the letter was on the table again. Freshly printed, his name circled in red ink. The next morning, the police were back. Another person from the list had vanished overnight. This time, Detective Jensen's tone was softer. "Whoever's doing this wants you to see it. They want you scared." Evan, pale and shaking, just nodded. "But why me? Why my apartment?" Marla didn't answer. She just stared at the floor, thinking. Then she looked up, her eyes sharp. "Do you remember the name Jonathan Reeve?" Evan blinked. "That's my father." Her face went still. "He was an investigator, wasn't he? Went missing back in 1999? Evan nodded slowly as Marla sighed. Jonathan Reeve was working a case about a man who called himself the Collector. He used to keep lists of people too. The revelation hit Evan like a thunderclap. Could this all be connected to his father's disappearance? That night, he tore through old boxes in his closet. Files, photos, old newspaper clippings. Buried deep inside a dusty box was a file labeled The Collector of Names. He opened it, and his pulse raced. Inside were pages of neatly typed lists from different towns, different years. But the pattern was always the same. Every list ended with the name of the person investigating the case. This new list, his list, was history repeating itself. He looked up, half expecting the letter to reappear, and it did. But this time, something had changed. The font was different. The paper was newer. And at the bottom, there was a handwritten note in his father's handwriting. If you're reading this, Evan, he's not after you. He's using you. Marla arrived the next morning after Evan's panicked call. She stared at the letter, her brow furrowed. This isn't possible. Your father has been gone for 20 years. I know, Evan whispered, but I think he knew this would happen. Marla leaned in closer. Are you saying your father predicted this? Evan nodded. Or maybe he was part of it. That evening, Marla stayed behind to keep watch. At exactly 2:57 a.m., the power in the building went out. Emergency lights flickered on in the hallways, and then Evan's apartment door creaked open, all on its own. Marla drew her flashlight. Who's there? The beam caught something glinting on the floor. A key card. Not Evan's, not hers. It read, Property of City Records Office. Access Restricted Archives. Evan gasped. That's my department. Marla frowned. Someone's using your clearance. They drove to the records office. The night guard was gone. The elevator light blinked. B2, Restricted Archives. When they got to the basement, every cabinet was open, files scattered everywhere. In the center of the room sat an old typewriter. It was still warm. Evan stepped closer. A blank sheet was rolled inside, faintly smudged with fresh ink. Then, without warning, a key pressed itself down. A single word appeared on the page. Collector. Evan froze. Marla. He whispered. He's still here. But when the lights flickered back on, the room was empty. Over the next few days, more letters appeared. Each one rewritten, each with a different set of names, but they were all people connected to Evan's life. His co-workers, his neighbors, even Marla. He begged her to leave town, but she refused. Whoever is behind this wants to erase you. You can't run from a shadow, Evan. He looked out his window that night. The street was quiet. But in the reflection of the glass, he saw it again. A faint outline standing in the hallway behind him. He spun around. Nothing. But the list on his table had changed once more. Now, only one name remained. Evan Caro. Marla returned the next morning to check on him. His apartment was empty. The door was locked from the inside. No sign of a struggle. No sign of Evan. There was only one thing on the table. A freshly typed page. It read, The Collector of Names. Case closed. Weeks passed. The investigation stalled. Then one night, Marla was back in her office reviewing the evidence. A folder sat waiting on her desk. She hadn't left it there. Inside was a list, typed, folded. Her name was at the very bottom, and beneath it, today's date. She dropped the paper, her heart pounding. When she looked up, her office door was slowly swinging open. No one was there, just the faint clicking sound of a typewriter echoing in the dark. Every name must be collected,